This one simple pause a day could reconnect you to divine purpose and transform your entire life. You're not going to believe me when I say this, but everything you've ever wanted, everything you've ever searched for, and all those moments you've prayed desperately for guidance, they all depend on just one simple action you could take every single day. Yes, one simple pause. It sounds crazy, right? But stick around, because in this video, I'm about to take you through a spiritual journey so unbelievable, so profound, and so life-changing. You'll question everything you thought you knew about life, spirituality, and your true purpose. You'll see ordinary people just like you undergo transformations you never imagined possible, and discover how this simple, everyday pause could unlock miracles in your life too. By the end of this video, you won't just know your divine purpose, you'll feel it pulsing through every part of your being. Are you ready to transform your entire existence in a way you never imagined possible? Let's jump right into this. I want you to picture this. I was standing at the edge of a massive cliff, overlooking the ocean, with waves violently crashing against jagged rocks far below. The wind was howling so fiercely that it felt like it was trying to rip my soul straight out of my body. I was at the breaking point of my life. Overwhelmed, anxious, lost. Everything I tried had failed. Relationships collapsed. Finances shattered. Dreams disintegrated into nothingness. I was screaming at the universe for help, begging for just one tiny sign to let me know why I was even here. But what happened next was beyond anything I'd ever anticipated. Out of nowhere, an old man appeared. His presence seemed to silence the raging wind instantly. He had long white hair that danced gently around his shoulders, deep eyes that seemed to see directly into my soul, and an energy around him that felt almost supernatural. "You're here searching for something," he said in a voice like calm water. I couldn't even respond, I just stared, bewildered. "You think the answers are out there, somewhere beyond your grasp. But they're not," he continued, stepping closer. "They're hidden within a pause, one moment of true stillness each day." My heart was pounding. A pause? What do you mean? I meditate. I pray. I reflect. Nothing has changed, I stammered. The old man smiled gently. "Those are all actions you perform to reach something external. But the pause I speak of, it's not about doing anything at all. It's about completely stopping and allowing the universe to flow through you uninterrupted. It's the one thing you've never truly done." At that exact moment, he touched my forehead, and a rush of energy surged through my body like lightning. I felt on my knees, tears streaming down my face as visions flooded my mind. Visions of myself and countless others trapped in lives filled with distractions, anxieties, fear, and endless noise. And amidst it all, there it was, a shining point of absolute stillness, clear as crystal, pure as sunlight. And then he whispered something cryptic, something that still echoes in my mind today. "Only when you pause to truly see can you begin to live in the eternal now, where all miracles arise." I blinked, and he was gone, vanished without a trace. Was it a hallucination? An angelic visitation? I didn't know then. But what happened next changed my life forever. I returned home, shaken yet somehow feeling lighter than I had in years. The next day, I decided to take his advice. I found the quietest spot I could, sat down, and decided to truly pause. Not meditate, not pray, not think, just stop. It was harder than I imagined. My mind was racing, filled with doubt, anxiety, thoughts of inadequacy. But I persisted. And just as frustration was about to win out, I felt something. A warmth blossomed in my chest, gentle and subtle at first, then powerful and undeniable. Tears streamed down my face again. But this time they were tears of relief, clarity, and overwhelming peace. For the first time in my life, I wasn't trying to control the moment. I was allowing the moment to happen through me. In that pause, I glimpsed the divine purpose I'd been missing all along. But that was only the beginning. Over the next weeks, I took the simple pause every day. Each time, it became easier, and each time, the insights grew more profound. Every pause revealed something new. A solution to a problem, healing of emotional wounds, an inspiration that sparked creativity and joy. People around me noticed the change. Friends asked what was different, why I looked radiant and peaceful, why things suddenly seemed effortless. I decided to share this simple practice with others. I began telling people about the mysterious old man, his cryptic words, and my astonishing journey. I invited ordinary people like you, struggling mothers, stressed entrepreneurs, lost teenagers, to take that one pause a day and experience it for themselves. And what happened next blew me away. They returned transformed. A mother whose anxiety kept her up every night found peace and deeper connections with her family. A struggling artist suddenly began producing breathtaking masterpieces effortlessly. An overwhelmed executive rediscovered his passion for life and found balance. Each person, with their unique challenges, found their divine purpose, simply by pausing daily. The profound transformations multiplied, and the stories grew more powerful. But something even more incredible was about to unfold. An event so unexpected, so supernatural, and so undeniably miraculous. It would change everything. And it's precisely this event that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. This one simple pause is not just powerful, it's divine. You won't believe what happened next, because it's beyond explanation. But trust me when I say, this single event will change how you view your life forever. Are you ready? You're about to witness the miraculous proof that this simple pause is connected directly to a divine power. And it will shock you. Every day I watched more people take this simple pause and reconnect with divine purpose. But I kept wondering, was there something even deeper I was missing? A connection I hadn't fully grasped. That's when the miraculous event occurred. Something utterly beyond logic. A moment so profound it could only be described as supernatural. One evening, I gathered with a small group of people who'd been practicing the daily pause. We sat quietly, entering into our moment of profound stillness. Suddenly, the room grew unusually bright, as if bathed in pure, radiant moonlight. Though it was completely dark outside, our eyes snapped open. And there, in the middle of our circle, stood the very same old man who had appeared to me on the cliff. We were speechless, stunned. He smiled warmly and began speaking gently. You've all come here because you've tasted the power of the pause. But now, I must show you the deeper truth behind it. The room vibrated with energy, and instantly, each of us began experiencing visions simultaneously. We saw our lives, our struggles, our hidden potentials. We saw our past pain clearly, finally able to forgive ourselves and others completely. And then, we saw something else. Something infinitely deeper, our divine purpose, revealed in crystal clear clarity. Each vision was unique, tailored precisely to each individual, yet interconnected by one profound theme, unity with the divine source. He raised his hands gently and spoke again. Words that still echo vividly, this simple pause connects you to eternity, the source from which everything emerges. Your life, your purpose, your miracles, they all arise from here. As he spoke, a golden, ethereal energy filled the room, touching each of us deeply. People wept openly, feeling unconditional love and clarity they'd never known existed. It was like witnessing countless miracles simultaneously, each heart ignited with new clarity and purpose. And then, as suddenly as he appeared, he vanished, leaving behind absolute peace and astonishment. We sat silently, absorbing what had just occurred. Each of us knew we'd experienced something unprecedented. Something that defied conventional understanding. We touched eternity itself. If you think what you've seen is incredible, wait until you see how this pause can directly manifest miracles in your life. The visions we had that night changed each of us profoundly. But I knew this was just the beginning. After witnessing something so unmistakably divine, I realized that the pause wasn't simply about finding peace or relieving stress. It was a literal gateway to miracles. The deeper I practiced, the clearer it became. This pause was more powerful than meditation, more transformative than prayer. It was a direct, daily connection with divine purpose itself. Excited by this incredible realization, I decided to push even further. What would happen if we intentionally used this pause to manifest miracles? Real, tangible, undeniable miracles in our lives? Was it possible to consciously direct divine energy towards our most significant dreams? I began experimenting, inviting others who had experienced the visions that night to join me. Each day, we took our simple pause, opening ourselves fully to the divine flow. Instead of asking or praying, we simply allowed our deepest, truest desires to surface naturally in our consciousness, trusting completely in this infinite connection. The results were staggering. The first miracle happened to Sarah, a woman who had struggled financially for years, overwhelmed by debt and anxiety. After just 7 days of intentional pausing, Sarah received an unexpected phone call. It was an attorney informing her that a distant relative she'd never met had passed away, leaving her an inheritance exactly equal to her total debt, down to the very last penny. Coincidence? Maybe. But then the miracles kept coming. Michael, an aspiring musician who had all but given up on his dream, began taking daily pauses as well. Within just 2 weeks, he received an invitation, completely out of the blue, to perform at one of the most prestigious music festivals in the country. Organizers had stumbled across his forgotten demo online. A demo he'd thought nobody would ever hear. It defied logic. And then there was Jasmine, whose lifelong battle with anxiety had left her paralyzed with fear and insecurity. After practicing this pause, her anxiety didn't just reduce. It vanished completely. Doctors were baffled. Therapists were amazed. But Jasmine knew exactly why. She discovered the divine power hidden within a simple pause. As these stories multiplied, I realized something crucial. Miracles weren't rare, mystical events reserved for a lucky few. They were available to everyone, every day, through this one powerful connection. But there was still one thing holding many back: doubt. I saw it clearly now. Doubt was the ultimate enemy of miracles. It was like a dark cloud blocking the sunlight of divine purpose. But how do you overcome something as ingrained and powerful as doubt itself? The answer came, once again, in the middle of a pause. One morning, as I sat in deep stillness, a voice whispered gently in my consciousness, "Doubt dies in presence." I understood immediately. Doubt thrives in thoughts about the future and regrets about the past. It cannot exist in true presence. In the pause, doubt dissolves because there's nothing to doubt in pure awareness. Only the certainty of connection with divine purpose. Armed with this insight, I began teaching people how to silence their doubts instantly. Simply by entering into presence during their daily pause, the miracles exploded exponentially. Suddenly, people everywhere began reporting extraordinary transformations. Families healed broken relationships effortlessly. Businesses on the brink of bankruptcy suddenly thrived. Chronic illnesses mysteriously vanished. But most importantly, people discovered true, lasting fulfillment. They weren't just chasing miracles, they were living miraculous lives, deeply connected to divine purpose. But what was it about this pause that made miracles so accessible? Why was something so simple, just stopping and allowing yourself to exist fully, so incredibly powerful? The answer hit me like lightning during another profound pause, because in this stillness, you return to your original state of divine unity. You become a direct channel for infinite intelligence, infinite creativity, and infinite potential. This pause isn't just powerful, it's your natural state of being. Everything else is distraction. Think about this deeply for a moment. How much of your day, your life, is spent in distraction, worry, fear, anxiety, stress? How often do you find yourself rushing from one task to another without ever stopping to ask why you're even doing it? Imagine instead a life lived fully in alignment with your divine purpose, effortlessly attracting miracles, peace, and true joy. Imagine a life where every moment matters, every action is inspired, and every result exceeds your wildest dreams. That life isn't just possible, it's your birthright. And the only thing separating you from it is your willingness to pause each day and reconnect. But here's the ultimate question. The one you've probably been asking since you first clicked on this video: how exactly do you implement this pause into your daily life? What steps do you need to take right now to unlock this divine connection? Let me give you the exact process I've discovered that will change everything for you, immediately. Every single day, preferably early in the morning or late at night, sit down somewhere quiet. Take a deep breath and then completely let go. Not just physically, but mentally. Don't meditate. Don't think. Don't analyze. Simply stop. Allow yourself to fully exist in stillness, observing but not engaging with your thoughts. In this simple act of pausing completely, you open yourself entirely to the infinite flow of divine purpose. At first, it might feel strange or uncomfortable. Your mind might resist, throwing endless distractions and doubts your way. But keep returning to presence, gently and persistently. Soon, you'll begin feeling something remarkable, a deep sense of peace, clarity, and connection you've never known before. Once you establish this connection daily, miracles become your natural state. Divine purpose becomes your everyday reality. Your relationships deepen. Your creativity flows effortlessly. And life unfolds beautifully, far beyond anything you've previously imagined. I want you to realize right now, you are literally one pause away from a life most people only dream about. You're one pause away from miracles becoming your normal. You're one pause away from truly understanding why you are here on this earth, and living that truth completely. But knowing this isn't enough. You have to actually do it. And that's exactly my challenge to you today. Commit right now to taking this simple pause every single day. For just a few minutes. Do it for 7 days straight. And watch closely what unfolds in your life. I guarantee you'll experience miracles. Because you're tapping directly into the divine power that creates them. Listen carefully. Because here's the absolute truth you've been waiting for: the divine didn't put you here to live distracted, anxious, or lost. It placed you here to thrive, to create miracles, to live with purpose and passion. And this one pause a day is how you remember exactly who you are and why you're here. Your entire life can change from this moment forward, simply by deciding to pause every day. Don't wait. Don't put it off. Your future self, your fulfilled, miraculous, joy-filled self, is waiting just on the other side of that pause. And if you think all you've heard up to this point is powerful, wait until you hear the final revelation, the ultimate truth hidden deep within this pause, that will make every doubt disappear forever and instantly align your life permanently with divine purpose. Are you ready to finally hear the truth that changes everything? The next few minutes will unveil the ultimate spiritual secret hidden within this simple pause. And after hearing this, your life can never go back to normal. Here we are. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching a video anymore. You're crossing a threshold. Because what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes is the ultimate secret hidden inside the pause. The secret no book, no guru, no ancient text ever told you directly, but every prophet, mystic, and enlightened soul has hinted at. And once you understand this secret, something irreversible happens. You awaken. Your life is no longer a series of random events. It becomes a divine story, written through you, by the source itself. I need you to take a breath right now. Not a casual one. A real one. Inhale, slowly, and exhale. Because what I'm about to say isn't just knowledge. It's activation. In the pause, when all thinking stops and all doing ceases, something beyond the mind emerges. Something eternal. It's not just stillness. It's not just peace. It's your original self. The self that existed before your name, before your memories, before your pain. The self that has never been hurt, never been afraid, never been separate from the divine. In that moment of absolute pause, you become what the mystics call a witness. But even that's just a word. In truth, you become the space where all creation happens. You're not watching life unfold. You are the unfolding. And here's the secret that's been hidden in plain sight. You are not meant to find your purpose. You are meant to become the channel through which divine purpose flows. That's it. That's the secret. All your life, you've been searching for answers, thinking purpose was something you had to chase or earn. But the pause shows you the opposite. It reveals that purpose is something already flowing through you, waiting to be expressed the moment you get out of the way, the moment you stop grasping, striving, panicking, performing, and simply become still enough to allow the divine to move through you. When you take this pause daily, you don't just align with purpose. You become purpose in motion. Let that sink in. This isn't about becoming a monk or escaping the world. This is about becoming more present in it. Bringing divine awareness into your relationships, into your work, into the way you wash dishes or answer emails or walk your dog. Every act becomes sacred, because you are fully there. No longer fragmented. No longer disconnected. No longer asleep. This is how the pause transforms your entire life, not by adding something, but by stripping away all that is false, so that only the truth remains. And here's something truly mind-blowing: the more you pause, the more time seems to slow down around you. Tasks that once strained you become effortless. Ideas flow. Synchronicities multiply. People begin saying things like, "There's something different about you," but they can't quite put their finger on it. It's because you're not operating in the chaos of time anymore. You're rooted in eternity, while everyone else is rushing by. You begin to live life as it was meant to be lived, not in reaction, but in revelation. Each moment becomes a message. Each silence becomes a sermon. And every breath becomes a prayer. And then, something even stranger happens. You start hearing guidance. Not from outside, but from deep within. A voice that isn't a voice. A knowing that can't be explained. Some call it the Holy Spirit. Others call it intuition. But I call it what it truly is, the divine speaking through you because you finally got quiet enough to listen. You'll begin to make decisions not based on fear, but on alignment. You'll say no to things you once chased, and yes to things that once terrified you. Because now, you trust the flow. You don't just believe in God. You walk with God, inside you, every moment of every day. Do you know how powerful that is? That means even when things look like they're falling apart, you know they're actually falling together. Even in pain, you feel peace. Even in loss, you sense divine redirection. Life no longer feels like a burden. It becomes a dance, a co-creation with the infinite. And you begin to understand, there was never anything wrong with you. You were just disconnected, distracted, drowned out by noise. But now, you're tuned in, and the channel is clear. Let me tell you one last story before we close. There was a man named Eli. He lived in a small coastal town and had completely given up on life. After losing his job, his wife, and his health, he had nothing left. He was preparing to end his life. But one night, for some reason he couldn't explain, he stumbled across one of our videos and heard these exact words: "This one simple pause a day could reconnect you to divine purpose and transform your entire life." He thought it was nonsense, but in a moment of desperation, he decided to try it anyway. He paused, just for 2 minutes. No expectations, no effort, just silence. Something shifted. It wasn't dramatic, but it was real. A tiny crack of light entered his darkness. So he did it again the next day, and again. A month later, Eli emailed me a photo. He was smiling, holding a canvas he had painted with bright, vivid colors. He said, "I don't know who I am anymore, but I like this version better." Eli is now teaching art classes for kids and running a spiritual group in his community. Not because he found some new religion or philosophy, but because he paused every day, and in that pause, he discovered the river of divine purpose that had been flowing inside him all along. If Eli can do it, so can you. Let me leave you with one final truth. A truth that could be the most important thing you ever hear. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It's living your entire life disconnected from who you really are. Don't let that be your story. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to chase enlightenment. You don't need to be more spiritual or perfect. You just need to pause every day, even if it's only for a minute. Even if your mind is noisy. Even if it feels useless. Do it anyway. Because over time, that pause becomes your portal, your secret weapon, your divine appointment with the infinite. And eventually, you'll realize, it wasn't just a moment of stillness. It was the moment you woke up. If this video touched something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs it. Comment below and tell me what you experienced. And most importantly, commit now, one pause, every day. No excuses, no delays. Just you, the moment, and the divine presence already waiting inside you. Because this one simple pause a day could reconnect you to divine purpose and transform your entire life forever. Right now, make the decision to pause daily and watch as the divine rewrites your story in ways you never thought possible.